tontone political aid edema Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Young Kodin Komo Emfa a year twano eho. Kobi, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Na Boko de.
Nyamia Bibia Boko. Mechia ne Kessben at TFO.
Ya Joso do. Na Nyame Koso ewo Northeast.
I no a blande trail wing. And I a bass antimantem. Ebe yinra Matthew Opoku Prempe Echle. Sir Obey Abedi Chra Bobo Yinra Mahmoud Bawumia Chido. Iwi na number no anya di ani chire sire mantem. Ukwala na anopano ye share aprobonase ewo northeast region ye share aprobonase won na Rerigu Gambaga na ye free ho call yuyo asana ye kowie Okurugu na de chien ye free Okurugu call Chiripone na nesanke toaso Saboba na issue yantam bitoye nti ma yetwa mu Saboba kotoa so mion
Okay.
Na yɛde wie tamalenti anɔpɛ yɛbɛda tamalenti anɔpɛ a me no kasa na yɛde ani akyerɛ Pandai nti ɛnɛ yɛyɛ Pandai na yɛyɛ Wolensi na yɛwie wɔ Bimbila.
Okay.
nti me no kasa yɛnam kwan so a yɛkɔ Pandai.
Moko Pandai. Right. Na mami Musa se moko no sɛ na manfo no agye mu ɛna nsɛmbɛn ɛna ɔmo ka kyerɛ mu.
Medase bebree. Sɛdeɛ daa na yɛka no wohwɛ ɔgyefoɔ bosome ne da ɛtɔ so nson nsɛmfua a yɛwura Mahmoud Bawumia de to dwa saa nsɛmfua no ho dawura na yɛgu so a yɛrebɔ aprɔbɔ a ne di kan no yɛkɔ mantam ne ne kuropɔn mu aprɔbɔ a ɛtɔ so mmienu yi deɛ yɛwura mantam no mu a yɛkɔ mpɛsoa so na yɛne mpɛsoafoɔ no adi nkɔmmɔ nti nsɛm a yɛaka no ɛyɛ aduɔson no yɛsɔne so na mpɛsoa no a yɛwura no deɛ ɛfa wɔ mo ho no yɛne ɔmo adi ho nkɔmmɔ nti yɛne ɔmo di nkɔmmɔ nso wie a ɔmo nso wɔ nneɛma baako mmienu mmiɛnsa bi a ɔmo de bɛto dwa ebi tumi yɛ akwan ebi tumi yɛ bi vocational institution bi a ɔmo hwehwɛ in fact yɛkɔɔ mmea asɛm a ɔhempɔn a ɔwɔ mmea ɛsrɛ yɛwura ne sɛ ɛyɛ bambɔ ho sɛm ɛyɛ atɔ ape kakra firi wɔnom a ɔmo firi aman ahorow ɛbɛbɔ sesen wɔ hɔ nti kwan bɛɛ na yɛwura bɛ afa so ɛde aboa ansa na yɛwie a yɛdi nkɔmmɔ afa adwuma a yɛayɛ yɛwura ato n'anum tuo ɛka sɛ wohwɛ ɛsoro ha a yɛpɛ obi a watumi aboa paa de mpuntu aba a menyi nni sɛ wobɛtumi asan yɛwura Mahmoud Bawumia ho aha nso na ɔde to dwa sɛ yɛwura John Dramani Mahama sɛ onimdeɛ ne adomakyɛdeɛ a ɔde bɛbu ɔman a ɔmmra no anyina simpie so na yɛntoto yɛn ho ano. He called for a debate. Which debate they are running from?
I don't know because no media engagement.
No, the spokesperson. No, we are not calling for a media engagement. We are not saying Mahama should do a media engagement. We are saying that Mahama say ono ne betimi abu o man no na yewura Mahmoud Bawumia dwane free economy no.
Oh, okay.
And ye ka se kasemu hihye no yagitum so ohaw ne amane kakraba nanso ohaw ne amane ni nyina achi no yabɔ ye ho modin enti ye pese edi ho nkomo.
Okay.
Omra ne ne nyina afa ne ni san nkomo no ana ono ne kasa maafo de abetu dwa se omo ni nkomo bia. That is what we are saying. Of course. Now, sir, Uka say you are not interested in a debater. You are going into a contest asking Ghanaians to vote for you or for the other person. Decision be na Ghana for a teki. Ghana for was they say omube tie mu mienu no matoto ma no. Ehun de ese be nim die mu do. nunti esi ade abanya na yede emano
Mano.
enti we ni asem a ye kan wo so wonye ye de any problem ye na ma ye ba pro ye ni Ghana for kasa ye call from door to door, window to window, room to room, taxi ride to taxi ride, lorry station to lorry station,
Okay.
stakeholder to stakeholder. We are going down to the grassroots, to the electoral area, polling station, and working. Anytime we are ready, we are ready. We'll defend our record.
Okay.
Because the facts are clear. Yeah, Juma. And they say, we share road projects on Mampany. Yeah, now I mean, bridges, roads all over. Of course, we cannot do everything. Aben bien no betimi aye Ghana. Nyame nyina. Ye hwe de waye ne dodo. De ade ma ono ho no kre. So ate ase. Aha. What kakra na ade ma ono ho no kre na. Say no adi. Aha. Eno na ye hwe.
Na asem ya wo kan say economy ne nasefo yi. Ene yi yense Ghana fo bi. Na kwame na mefa so convince because ene wo hwe businesses ne nasefo a. Omo nyina esu. Ba mo say economy no mabom ho modern.
De ye kire won say in the face in the face of the challenges confronting the global space, we have done better. Sebe or how besinsin we are seeing in our home, I ain't Ghana for. Saw how ne buy na sabi who ya sinu near the crampo ship. Yenina ni a nimsa the empo betching. Minya, am I a real few? COVID ya reward besinsin we are seeing in our home. Na ye nim baby e de ye nan sie home mpo na ho aye den ama oman ane wiase nyina no ye gi oman ni gina ho ye tua teacher for ka ye tua aban adwuma for ka 170,000 people ye admit on hospital aban for mu nyina ho ka ye mansuo ye man electricity ye man businesses ye make sure say e mabunu ko school. We did everything for a school sem so bra. 5 million people have benefited from free education. 5 million people from academic year 2017 to academic year 2023. Yeah, for 2024, 5 million young people have benefited. And then, yeah, STEM schools, ahuro bebre, ate say, oh, my, over STEM, 160,000 young people benefiting from STEM education. Yanko Hospital. We are building 110, and then almost 50% are over 80% complete. About 50%, 50 hospitals of the Agenda 111 are over 80% complete. It will be the biggest health infrastructure in the history of this republic. Demra Aquine, 12,000 kilometers of road network. And Neshe, Kumasi Accra Aquine, Eddie Wu for a million century, ye dualize the Kumasi Accra. Free of Anko, Ebesin Sawam, 10 lanes of 33 kilometers with 2 flyovers, 2 interchanges, 9 bridges, 1 underpass. The biggest road, the single most biggest road infrastructure in the history of this republic. Kumasi, Ashanti region, 12,000 kilometers. Emu 2,300 kilometers. Ashanti region, even more than Greater Accra. This government has worked. Kumasi Airport, even UGMC, John Mahama, one more de rumpo, one young marching. Akufuado invested in the phase 2 of the UGMC hospital. The born for phase 1 of UGMC, yen baby. Adwuma no metimi aka ya from there. Yantimi anya ni nyina ya gitum sa hostel so aba. But the can say when na woni dia obetimi apega o man na dru e mapon so. Ye radi nsemfua adioso na atwa. Say yen hwe yen tax system. Yen dane ani ofiri Kessben bresu besi ne e kwan ya fa so gigi to emoa. Yen hwe ne yen dane ani. Yen hwe yen agudie e kwan ya fa so ede ye agudie e ya adwuma. Yen dane ani waka ho wabɔ ho nkomo. Afei oman yi wo hwe kwan a ye infrastructure edi o how beto aban ne so And he was saying, let's take away 30 billion of investment are buying here in capital expenditure, which is about 3% of our GDP, and give it to the private sector so that the private sector can focus on building infrastructure, modern roads, modern rail. Rail mpodie, minia, if you the abrofuni beye ye twemu, abrofuni beye twemu, aban we na beye the most in rail. For Tematumpakada, ko Western region, ko he ko jokrom ne ayaye wo ho. Minia unim say who Ashanti region, unim say Akufo-Addo esi a brand new university, unim say
Akomada
what it
Akomada.
I guess of the two so brand new from scratch. Akufo-Addo.
Mo opposition mostly are no more kase more COVID more the bomb was for na more share na mo share bada a lot of relief eba your mind mo hana nti mo fa COVID no mom was for
na Ghana for bebre ya na e bia sa na ema we no omo nhye dante ase papa ma me nchichi you see oman no yakohuma bosika your friend budget ye wodi enya ene ye wodi edi expenditure versus revenue Efri titire de besi ne oman ni sika wonya embro de odi so da de bia no de yedie no ebro de yenya so eno na brofo kasam ye frɛ no fiscal budget deficit budget deficit ye kase budget deficit it is the difference between your expenditure and your revenue against your GDP okay so 2022 as an example. Your revenue was 99.5 billion Ghana cedis. The revised value. Expenditure was 133 billion.
Okay.
Ab initio. In plain one or the 33 billion. It is a IMF now 1 billion. Or catch that will say 1 billion now or they mount. In fact, who could read IMF a budget support now. Okase sika we ya de mamo ye de mamo for budget support. They actually say it. Because the IMF knew that you were in a deficit of 33 billion at the time, over $3 billion. Into 1 billion. It is only 1 billion akase. World Bank mau aka 2 billion ka World Bank mau kakra we mau kakra and non chere say this is what they don't tell you.
Okay.
This is what they don't tell you. And remember, 2022 was the year. So we couldn't even go to borrow. Because what you do to fight your budget deficit is to you borrow on the international market or from your bilaterals or multilaterals to offset that debt.
Okay.
We couldn't. So that support now moka wansem no ebekunka ama Auditor General ayana report or raise concerns. But Auditor General concerns are be raising say sacrosanct. And nothing what Public Accounts Committee. Public Accounts Committee adwuma said the Auditor General akano obesa yen hwehwemu bi o say e wonyina so ana eni nyina so. But IMF abeka, World Bank abeka say, sika ye de man mo say mo fan ko COVID yarewo no, mo di so pepepe, mo hwe so ye. Enti nye NDC na abeka kire ye say nya sika say ni anya ni say. We will explain the issues to the people of this republic. And then United States of America, omo inflation ko for mo de. Then so prices of goods and services are so high. Ade ba ko abesin say Biden ko mo ni say groceries, standard of living, and more thing. If we are
okay,
United Kingdom, everywhere. So what we are saying is say, from dear, or however, amaniaba. Bempono, we have turned the corner. Every indicator shows say we have turned the corner. Diaka yen kakra ne say yebehwe na cedi ne dollar ho odin no edi ehim no yebetimi agina na brane. That's the we are almost there.
Right.
We shouldn't hand the nation over to an incompetent, reckless person like John Dramani Mahama.
Mamusa, one key question. Most of the time, yearly, a year Ghana lose just to corruption quite about $3 billion. Says Kawi.
And I'm not showing yourself again.
Oh, I got it from a report.
Which report? Auditor General report. You see, that's what I was explaining to you. A lot of people don't understand the Auditor General report. And I'm saying this with all due respect.
Okay.
Auditor General's report, I say you lose X amount. You all catch when they say Auditor General audits for certain functions to check tax irregularities.
Okay.
To check allocation, proper allocation of funding. You can say, Fasikane Koto Ebia and Pabua, a young passer with Sikane to Pabua, and how the Sikane Koto Atari. So what I say, Auditor General checks for cash irregularities.
Okay.
So the ocean of the Auditor General law now, there are functions, tax irregularities, cash irregularities, misappropriation, misallocation. It is an Auditor General catcher will say, okay, let me use myself as an example. When I was head of information in Washington at the embassy, you took one and within a certain number of days, now I said what they back. Now bet draw minutes. Now count I do memo to say me to quite call her. Na me boka say enti hon krateni. But sometimes we betu kwena na be a bear 1 month, 2 months, untimi tenase enye hon krata.
Okay.
Auditor General in Kuntemuno, it is an irregularity. So the Auditor General will report it as irregularity. But Oko Public Accounts Committee, then you explain and say no, a delay of records and not necessarily an irregularity. That does not make it corruption.
Okay.
Let me give you one final example. The law says that any company or any institution that has to remit money to controller has to do it within a specific period. I think 72 hours or so. So as we share a buying car, as within 72 hours, and all this you cannot come a buying. But your instances are be a bank now or remittances you cannot to controller may have technical challenges. So Sikano may go to controller in 1 week. Auditor General will still flag it as an irregularity.
Okay, so I'm back for Aka and yes,
corruption. It's not corruption.
Okay.
It is high time we educate Ghanaians on these things. And Nuntina, 2023 Auditor General's report, or Diabase, for the first time in our history, Abai Etimia reduce irregularities by 5 billion Ghana cedis. Just the recent report. Once I know the buy who ye be ama want once I know the media for man can once.
Okay, but that doesn't mean say then another corruption no anyhow. May say how are we going to fight all these things because a lot of money also go waste or these practices.
I totally agree with you. Sir, there's a degree of corruption in the system. No two ways about it.
Yeah,
but and also say we must misinform the people. And corruption na ye ko ketashe na ye ko. Ye were measures are you can arrest somebody for corrupt and prosecute the person. Or you can do what we call preventive mechanisms. It's here Ramamu's Bawumia say he's not going to wait for the corruption to happen. Of course, corruption there some will happen anyways. But one of the ways they say he's going to employ preventive corruption mechanism. What does that mean? And ma adeni is secret. Don't allow it to happen in the first place. So bring something like the Ghana card. What the Ghana card bar? Any question ni din what payrolls no. Ni din kwasokra in the first place na wakotua ni sika na wakochi sinaji. NDC for MPs or moji double salary no. And to me see because the ID, the unique identification that the Ghana card offers will ensure that these things don't happen in the first place. That is why a name, Oko a yes senator, 29,000 ghost names have been removed. Oko national servicer names have been removed. Oko the controller's payroll names have been removed. So it will not happen in the first place for you to come and fight it.
Okay.
So for above in India council, na edi nhyehyɛ gu akwan mu a you will limit corruption happening in the first place.
Okay. Kofi,
these are the measures. Medasi. Yame ya aduma enche. Yebesaba Ashanti region.
Yebesho banim.
Medasi. Yame sure ni Kessben.